Long before European powers set foot in the dense forests of Ghana, a mighty empire rose from the heart of the land. This empire would come to challenge colonial ambitions and profoundly shape the history of West Africa. But how did it all begin? This is the story of the Asante, a journey from scattered chiefdoms to an empire united under the legendary Golden Stool. Hello, I'm your host, and in this first episode, we'll trace the deep roots of the Asante people and witness the crucial first steps they took toward unity. Our story begins with the Akan peoples, a vast ethnic and linguistic group that has inhabited southern and central Ghana for centuries. This region is a treasure trove of natural resources, lush forests, winding rivers, fertile soil, and most importantly, gold. It was this immense wealth in gold that fueled early trade and laid the economic groundwork for the kingdoms to come. Over time, numerous Akan states and chiefdoms emerged, each governed by a chief and rooted in unique clan and spiritual traditions. One of the most sacred and ancient sites is Asantemanso. Oral history remembers it as the cradle of several Akan groups, and archaeological evidence confirms it was a thriving settlement as early as the 9th century. It's here, in these ancient forest communities, that the seeds of the future Asante Empire were sown. Within the complex web of Akan clans, one began to rise in prominence: the Oyoko clan, based near the area that would one day become the great city of Kumasi. Before the Asante Union, power was a shifting game of clan loyalties and regional alliances. Many smaller states were forced to pay tribute to the dominant Akan kingdom of the time, Denkira. But by the mid-17th century, leaders from the Oyoko clan, like Nana Oti Akenton, started pushing back. They began expanding their influence, forging strategic alliances, and boldly resisting Denkira's authority. While oral histories can vary, it is clear that these early efforts to build power and defy subordination were paving the way for a revolutionary leader to unite the Akan people under a single powerful banner. That leader was Osei Tutu, who emerged in the late 17th century as a charismatic and visionary force. But he was not alone. By his side stood the formidable Okomfo Anokye, a high priest whose spiritual authority was instrumental in legitimizing the new order they were about to create. Together, they orchestrated one of the most pivotal events in West African history, the descent of the Golden Stool from the heavens. This sacred object was said to contain the very soul, or sunsum, of the Asante nation. It wasn't just a throne, it was the ultimate symbol of unity, placing the spirit of the nation above any single chief. Armed with this powerful symbol and a clear political vision, Osei Tutu convinced and coerced other Akan chiefs to join a new confederacy. The decisive moment came around 1701 at the Battle of Feyase, where the newly united Asante forces decisively defeated Denkira, shattering its dominance and heralding the dawn of a new empire, Asanteman, the Asante nation. With military victory secured, Osei Tutu and his successors began the hard work of building a state. They organized a system of tributary states, established formal administrative structures, and centralized power in Kumasi. Osei Tutu made a brilliant move by claiming royal ownership over all major gold mines, which gave the state direct control over its primary source of wealth. This economic power was further amplified by trade. The Asante controlled the flow of gold, cola nuts, and sadly, enslaved people, trading them with European merchants on the coast for firearms and other goods, which in turn strengthened their military. Culturally, Osei Tutu masterfully wove together rituals and institutions from various Akan traditions, creating a unified court culture that helped forge a shared Asante identity and solidify the new nation. But building an empire from a collection of independent chiefdoms was never going to be easy. Tensions simmered as some clans resisted submission and others tried to reclaim their autonomy. The new state was also vulnerable to internal power struggles, and the death of Osei Tutu around 1717 created a dangerous leadership vacuum. However, the foundations he and Okomfo Anokye had laid were strong. The Golden Stool as a unifying symbol, the centralized control over gold, the tributary system, and the spiritual legitimacy of the state, all of these institutions endured. By the middle of the 18th century, the Asante had become the undisputed powerhouse of the region, dominating the forest zones of southern Ghana and setting the stage for an era of unprecedented expansion. From fragmented chiefdoms hidden in the forest, Osei Tutu and Okomfo Anokye forged a new nation, united in spirit and purpose under the Golden Stool. The foundations they built would empower the Asante to build a vast empire and later to stand against the might of European powers. In our next episode, we'll explore the golden age of Asante expansion under the reign of Opoku Ware I. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.